Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Brady from Westside Fishing. This is Tyrone from Tackle HQ.
Hey everyone.
We get asked a lot about the different hook sizes, hook shapes, and what are they used for, how they're used, what you use them with, what baits you use them with, all this sort of thing. So we'll go through first. Which one do you want to go through first?
We'll go through these. These are the two biggest questions I get asked the most. Is the difference between a circle hook, which you can see here has got a little bend in on the top, and an octopus hook. And the biggest difference with these two is the octopus hook is more set up for the fisherman that likes to strike their bait, where a circle hook is more set up to the fisherman that likes to fish in a rod holder and wind into their bait. So a circle hook comes in, and if this is the fish's mouth, it's designed to come in, and as you wind into it, or the fish pulls, it comes around and it hooks the corner of the mouth every time. So you can see that rolls in. Obviously I'm not going to stab myself because it will hurt, but that rolls in and then that pins in the corner of the mouth every single time. So these are ideal for live baiting, for chasing jewfish or demersal species, for the people that want to just wind into like how you fish,
This is what I use. So this is my probably mainly used hook. I use it on a snelled setup. I run a squid or a muley, yeah, anything on there with a ball sinker on it, and I just leave it in the rod holder. So that's while I'm jigging or while I'm using my soft plastics, I'll chuck that out the back of my boat and just let it sit there. And that's probably the most hook that I would use for bait fishing, because I just leave it in the rod holder and let it go off.
But if you're one of those guys that likes to grab his rod when you feel a bite, like give it the big old over the shoulder strike, you have to run one of these. Because what will happen if you run a circle hook is you'll just pull the hook out of the mouth, where this is designed when it goes in the mouth and you pull, strike, it goes straight in and it just sets the hook for you. So that's if you're a strike fisherman, don't even bother using a circle. And a few people would do like a snell with a circle and a
Yeah, I've seen that. Why?
Well, I don't understand it. Some people love it. I don't get it because they're two hooks that have been used for different purposes. So really, I guess it's up to everyone's own how they want to do it, but I don't understand how it would work because they both use different setups.
Yeah, so if this was your main if you're running baits, a snelled setup baits, and you're actually holding the rod, I would run that.
Yeah, definitely. If you're holding the rod and you strike and run a normal,
you're just going to strike no matter what if you feel the bait. Even if you're running that, you're not going to not strike it. If you're going to hold the rod, these are way better.
And with hook sizes, especially with this size, every single brand is a different size. So people come in and go, I want a 5.0, and you give them a 5.0 Owner or Gamakatsu, and they go, oh, this is really small. Where with like another brand like Mustard, it might be a bigger hook. So don't really look at the numbers so much unless you're fishing with the same brand. Look at the actual physical size of the hook.
And what's the perfect kind of hook size for what you're doing? Is it to hold the bait or is it to hook the fish?
Well, you don't need a massive hook to hook the fish.
Yeah.
It's more to hold the bait. Like, you know, the commercial guys run a Tijuana, which is like a square, a square circle. They're like this big. They're not big at all, and they still hook big fish.
I've got one, I'm going to show it.
There he goes, you can grab one. So yeah, you don't need a massive hook to fish with, to catch big fish.
And why are these square? We're going to go through.
They're a commercial hook, so they're designed to be square because they're strong.
This little thing. So on a lot of
Tijuana,
that's the one.
That's a Tijuana there. So that's a straight shank square circle, and that will catch a 15 kilo dewey, no worries at all.
Easy.
They're a commercial hook. A lot of charter companies use them. They're cheap.
Same.
Yeah, same.
Alright, sweet. Let's go on to the next one. Alright, so
Lure hooks.
go over that one. What's the difference?
If it's in an inline eye, typically they are used for lures. So
what's an inline eye?
So this eye is inline, where if we look at this one, it's offset, so it's flat, that's inline. So when it sits on your lure, it sits the right way around, so it'll sit on the lure properly. That's got a swivel on the belly, so you wouldn't use that with that one. It's got a swivel, but we would use a treble with that, which we'll run through in a minute. But for instance, it'll sit like that, so when your hook is right,
Let's have a look what we're going to put on.
Put it on one of these, here you go, perfect. So this is probably a bit big for this lure, but to give you an idea, so when you put your split ring in, it fits on the lure correctly, because if you have a normal eye and you put your split ring on, the hook's going to be like that.
And it won't swim as good.
And also you won't hook anything.
Sweet.
Because you hook sideways.
Yeah.
So that way when your split ring's on, it's going to be the right way around.
So anything with the inline is for lures.
For lures, lure fishing, you don't tie an inline on a normal hook.
No, sweet.
Normal rig. Then with other lure hooks, obviously we've got trebles, two totally different sizes. This is a number 6. This is typically used for brim lures.
Stuff like this.
So these aren't used for bait, these are used for lures. And then we've got a 6.0 or a 7.0 here, it looks like. 7.0, and that would go on something like this.
Would you ever run a treble on the bottom and one on the back? I've seen that.
It depends on the lure. So if you're running a single on the back, it depends on the lure. Normally listen to the lure manufacturer, because the lure manufacturer will tell you normally what hooks to run. Some hooks hate singles, some lures hate singles. Some lures love singles. And in general, if it's got a swivel in the belly, you run a treble.
Perfect.
So you could run a treble and a single on this.
Yeah.
And these still swim okay, but where some other lures, they won't swim good with the single on them at all, and some of them say you use only singles with them.
Yeah, and I've seen on these trebles, I'd see this one doesn't have
Catch and release, no barbs.
no barb. So the difference between a barb is this for
For catch and release fishing, in general, like barbs were only originally made
to keep the fish.
to keep the bait.
Oh, okay, yep.
Because at the end of the day, your rod's always tight, your line's always tight. If you've got your fish hooked and your line's always tight, you can't drop your fish off your hook.
Yeah.
When your line goes slack, your fish can come off. So in general, barbs are only there to keep your bait on and stop your bait sliding off.
Yeah, sweet.
So as long as your line's tight, then you won't lose your fish.
Yeah.
But barbless hooks in general and trebles are built for GT fishing.
And they're safer for the fish, aren't they?
And you.
Yeah.
We know a lot of people have had hooks in their hands
Lots of people get these hooks in their hands.
all the time.
Easier to get them out.
It is easy. They just slide out.
All right, and then the next one is a real weird looking one. What's this for?
This is a shiner hook. This is primarily made for bottom feeding fish that suck more, so they like angle down and suck. So this is for like King George whiting or big whiting, or you can put a mussel on this for brim. Now, it's not perfectly ideal for a mussel, but you can slide a mussel onto it. But it is designed to hold a good squid tentacle for whiting or King George, and you keep it long, and they suck it in, and then they just suck that point in, and then you hook them.
Yeah.
So that's why it's this weird shape,
So you'd
So-
more target and you put like just a
like a little slither of squid,
A
so it looks
strip
like
of
a
squid.
tentacle. It hangs off a little bit.
octopus tentacle.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And they're primarily built, we sell these, main reason we sell these for is for people chasing King George.
Easy.
And you can still catch dewies on them, they're quite a strong hook.
Yeah. And then the last one.
Your red long shanks is
All right,
primarily
show that. We're gonna zoom in on this one because this is a very, very little one.
a red long shank. Now this is for sand whiting. So you
Yeah.
tie it like a paternoster
Why are they shaped like that?
because sand whiting suck. They've
Yeah.
got tiny little mouths.
So it's very similar to the
It's very
the
similar
other
to
hook.
the other one.
Yeah.
So they'll suck that and they'll hook that, and that long shank will just set itself.
Yeah.
Because the lines on the long shank will just, as they suck it in, it will just set its own hook.
Easy. And for these ones, I see a lot of people using prawns to feed them up through
Yeah,
that.
you can do.
Is that-
I use squid, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Prawn is a very popular bait for whiting.
Yeah, and you can usually just slide that up,
And you can
put
have
the
the
towel
whole-
through it,
exactly.
and you can have the whole prawn literally
that
on
hook.
that. Yeah. So we've gone through pretty much all the hooks through there.
Yep.
If you do have any more questions and we didn't cover it, just leave a comment on the bottom, and we'll cover it in the next one. But that's pretty much the basics of the hooks and what they're used for. Hopefully you learned something, even though I learned something today. And that's us done for the hooks at the moment. So we're gonna do lots of talks pretty much on all tackle. I'm gonna get questions from you guys and kind of just go through everything, the basics. When I started fishing, you didn't really know what all this gear, because there's so much gear in fishing, what to use it for. We're gonna go through all that stuff. So if you wanna add us on Instagram, I'm BSkibs on Instagram, it's BSKIBZ, and Westside Fishing on YouTube. Tackle HQ is Tackle HQ on Instagram and YouTube. And if you want to watch more stuff like this, just click the subscribe button, and then we'll get onto it. And we'll leave everything on the link. And we'll leave everything on the links below. So just click the link, and we'll leave everything there. Have a good one. Hopefully that helped. And Tyron, thank you.
No worries, bro.